In this video, we're going to talk about coordinates and their reflections. First thing we're going to do is review opposite of a number. And remember that opposites of a number are on opposite sides of zero, and they are the same distance from zero. So if I look up here at 6, and I put a mark at my 6, it is 6 units to the right of zero. So that means my opposite is 6 units to the left, or here at -6. So the opposite of 6 is -6. And then I have my vertical number line here. -5 is down here, and that's 5 units down. So then my opposite would be 5 units up, which would put me here. And so the opposite of -5 is 5. So using this idea of opposites, we're going to apply it to the coordinate grid. But on the coordinate grid, opposites are referred to as reflections. So when we talk about reflecting point A over the x-axis, it's basically the same thing as what we were doing when we were finding opposites on the number line. So if I look at point A here, my coordinates are -2, 4. So now I'm going to reflect it over the x-axis. So remember, my x-axis is this axis right here. And so when I reflect over the x-axis, that means basically I'm going to jump over or go to the other side of the x-axis. So this is 4 spots up, and like my opposite numbers, it's the same distance. So I'm going to go 4 spots the other direction, and that would put me right here. So B would be at still at -2 because I didn't go right or left any, but I did go down, so it would be -4. So what are some things that we notice about this? Well, my first thing is that the points are the same distance from the x-axis. One's just 4 spots above, the other one is 4 spots below. The points are on opposite sides of the x-axis. So again, like we said, one is 4 spots above and one is 4 spots below. The x-coordinate stays the same. So I look up here at my coordinates, my x stayed at -2 because remember I said I do not go right or left any, I just go up and down. And the last thing that I notice is that the y coordinate changes to its opposite. So again, if I look up here, I have a 4 and -4, and those two numbers are opposites. Now in this coordinate grid, it says reflect point M over the y-axis. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at point M, and my coordinates for point M are 3, -4. And again, it's going to reflect across the y-axis. And again, remember my y-axis goes up and down. And so when I take a look at that, I see that M is 3 units to the right. So that means my reflection is going to go 3 units to the left and put it right here. So N is at -3, -4. So now let's take a look at what we notice. So again, the points are the same distance from the y-axis. This one is 3 to the right. This one is 3 to the left. So the next thing that I notice is that the 2 points are on opposite sides of the y-axis. So again, this one goes to the right. This one goes to the left. The y-coordinate stays the same. So when I look up here at my y-coordinates this time, they are both -4. And then the x coordinate changes to its opposite. So again, if I look up here and we look at the x coordinates, we have 3 and we have -3. And those two numbers are opposites. So on this coordinate grid, I'm going to reflect point S over the x axis. So I look at point S first, and point S is at -4, -1. And again, I'm going to reflect it over the x axis, which again is right here. And I'm going to put point T then. Well, if this is one spot down, then I'm going to go one spot up. So T is going to be at -4, 1. So again, what do we notice when we're looking at this? First thing is that the points are the same distance from the x-axis. So again, they're both one spot away from the x-axis. I also know that they are on opposite sides because one is going below and one is going above. And then number 3 here, the x coordinate stays the same. So when I look up here at my coordinates, I can see that the x coordinates are both -4. And then the last thing, just as in all of the rest of them, the y coordinate changes to its opposite. So if I look up here at my y coordinates, I have -1 and 1, and those two numbers are opposites. So here I want to reflect point P over the y-axis. So first I need to find point P. So P is at 2, 4. And again, I want to reflect it over the y-axis. And again, the y-axis is the one that goes up and down. And then when I reflect there, I'm going to look here at this goes 2 units this way. And so my point R, my reflection is going to go 2 units this way. So my R goes right here. So my coordinates for my new reflected point, or R, would be at -2, 4. So now let's look at a few things that we notice as we look at these 2 points. So the first thing that we notice is that they are the same distance from the y-axis. So this one is 2 units to the right, and this one is 2 units to the left. And then I also notice that they are on opposite sides of the y-axis. So like I just mentioned, this one is to the right, and this one is to the left. The third thing that I notice is that the y coordinate stays the same. So when I look here, the 4s stay exactly the same number. And then the fourth thing that I'm noticing when I look at this is that the x coordinates change to the opposites. So when I look here, I have 2 and -2, and those two numbers are indeed opposites.